It's Wednesday. Let's wrangle. We got Danica De Giorgio on the desk,
Hello.
of course, as usual. Justin Stevens fired up. He's been limbering up in the studios in Melbourne, and we'll get into it. And we're going to start off with one of his favourite world leaders, of course, and that is the US President Donald Trump and the Epstein files. You looking forward to all of these documents being released, Justin?
Geez, it's been one hell of a build-up, isn't it? There better be something interesting in there, and it feels like there's something. Look, I think in all of this mess too, I just hope there is something very strong for the victims, because there have been a lot of victims of Epstein. That mongrel has been spewing his bile around the world and creating a hell of a lot of damage. So I hope that it brings something. I hope it brings a lot of justice for the victims, and also against the perpetrators.
Of course, the House of Reps in the US passed it with a strong majority. It went up to the Senate and sailed through like this.
This vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
That, of course, with those numbers is the House, not the Senate. But believe me, it then sailed through the Senate. And Danica, the interesting thing is now, Trump has said, after resisting this for so long, he said that he'll sign this bill. So he has to sign this bill. Then they'll have 30 days to get all the documents out. But there is still room for manoeuvre there, where the Justice Department or the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, she can actually strike out some names to protect victims and the like. But, you know, we're not certain we're going to see everything, are we?
I don't think so. I know that Kristen Tate even said to you in your program this week that she wasn't convinced that all of the names are going to be released. Look, this had to happen because don't forget that Donald Trump promised this. He actually promised to release the Epstein files. So we can't be surprised. And, you know, the Democrats, I think, have been trying desperately in the last few weeks to once again try and link Donald Trump to the Epstein files. My question would be, well, Joe Biden had the power to do this for all these years, and he never did, not once. And wouldn't he use that as sort of a red herring before the election? If there was genuine evidence against Donald Trump, they could have used it. The reality is they didn't. Chris, I'm ready with the popcorn. I've been waiting for this moment. I can't wait.
I'm with you. Like, where were the Democrats? They had all that time under Biden to get it out there. They obviously didn't want to. They're worried about the Clintons and whatever. They hushed it all up, just like Hunter Biden's laptop. But absolutely, Trump said he'd release it, and he went back on his word, and now he's been forced by the Congress to basically go back to what he originally said. Let's see what happens. But I tell you what, I want to show you something here from Donald Trump. This happened a few days ago, but it's only come to light now. Just the shocking way he speaks to a female journalist here. You watch the clip. He calls her Piggy.
Yep, he really did call a female reporter Piggy as she was peppering him with uncomfortable questions about the Epstein files.
What did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when you said you knew about the girls?
Trump answered her first question.
I know nothing about Jeffrey Epstein, and I had a very bad relationship for many years.
But when she tried to ask a follow-up, he lashed out.
If there's nothing incriminating in the files, sir, why are you acting as if...
This photograph of the moment shows just how angry the president is, thrusting his finger right in the reporter's face.
Now, I'm going to let you have a first crack at this, Danica. You cannot call someone Piggy.
No.
And you cannot stick your finger in their face.
No, I thought that was entirely unnecessary. I thought that was really, really rude. The reality is she was just doing her job. She is a reporter. She is asking a genuine question. The word pig is, you just do not call somebody that, and you don't put your finger. I thought it was, I agree. I think it was wrong.
Pretty appalling stuff. And Justin, and that's the trouble with Trump. The stuff like that goes to the heart of the man, right? It's revealing. Most of us couldn't imagine ourselves doing that, right?
No, absolutely not. But he's been doing this for years. And I mean, the name calling, I mean, even in the very first campaign, he was making fun of a disabled reporter, calling people names. And he's been doing this for so long. And you notice he only ever goes after those reporters when they've really got him, which is our job, when they're really asking him the tough questions. You know, he tells them, listen, I'm going to go after you, you know, and your ratings are failing. He starts starts to call them names. It's the same old pattern over and over again with him, isn't it?
Well, what it told me, of course, that he is desperately worried about these Epstein files. That's obviously got under his skin. So we'll wait and see. We all want to see what's contained in these files. I want to go to the COP30 hypocrisy and indulgence in Brazil, but I want to revisit it through a local angle that we used on the program last night. And there was a local mayor in Adelaide, the mayor of Mitcham, a lovely foothills, leafy area of Adelaide. This mayor went to Brazil for a climate conference in the lead up to the COP30 meeting. And listen to the exchange here where 5AA's David Pemberthy asked her a pretty pertinent question right at the end.
Just one final question. Did you offset the trip? Because it's a pretty lengthy flight to Brazil.
How do you mean, did I offset it?
For the carbon footprint.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand what you mean.
I don't know if you book the flights yourself, but when you book a flight, you can offset the carbon footprint for the trip. Did you do that?
I don't know. I didn't book the flight.
She doesn't know, Justin. She didn't book the flight. I mean, our local mayor's now going to save the planet flying across to Brazil, and she doesn't even know what the carbon offset is.
The local mayors shouldn't be doing these trips. I mean, you and I differ greatly on climate change and what should be done, but local councillors and local mayors going on overseas trips for something like this, there are very few people. It's usually involving tourism and industry. Very, very few local councillors and city mayors should have the opportunity to go overseas, and they should be able to show the value in it. What a total waste of money for the ratepayers of that area. That's the outrageous part. It's not even what the trip's necessarily about. The overseas trip component is the outrageous part.
Absolutely. And Danica, there were 3 mayors from South Australia went.
I mean, what on earth? Why do we need 3 mayors from South Australia? I think there was a police representative that went. There was about 500 of them swanning about on this trip to Brazil with Chris Bowen, of course. And we heard from Chris Bowen on this trip what he's doing over there. And I love it that they've all gone over there on their jet engines to discuss about the impacts of jet engines. Chris, is that what part
come on, change the channel.
Discussion?
Yeah, come on, get off that one. Of course, people have got to fly around the world. Gee, really? Is this a shock to you that people have to fly to get to the other end?
Yeah, but Justin, if you're going to go over there to profess your climate change, then wouldn't you be thinking about
what do you want, a canoe?
Hang on, flying over there, that's actually going to impact the carbon footprint. Isn't that a problem, Justin? Do you know? Well, they're obviously going to be discussing it. And then you've got Prince William flew in. He did a.
You'll mention Leonardo DiCaprio again now.
I'm shocked that Leonardo DiCaprio isn't there. You've got Prince William piggybacking on Keir Starmer's plane.
I would mention a bloke who acts almost as well as Leonardo DiCaprio, and that is Chris Bowen, who keeps telling us that he's saving the planet. He was there. Have we got time just to go to this clip from the New South Wales Parliament about the word mate?
45% of floodwaters don't cross Warragamba Dam. They come in through, see if I can remember, the Gross, the Colo, the Nepean. Yeah, love to hear your insights, mate.
The Premier referred to the member for Kellyville as mate.
Yes. Members will come to order, and I will uphold the point of order.
Now they're declaring war on mateship. These great Australian sayings, I refuse to withdraw it.
Mate.
I don't like mate. I do not like mate in the workplace. I don't like being called mate.
Come on, mate.
I don't. As a woman, I don't like to be called mate. I've got to be honest. No.
You've got to be able to say mate in Parliament, don't you, Justin?
I think you do. Absolutely, I will. I'll defend to the death. I will march in the street for for Premier Men's.
Well, thank you.
To fight for mate.
Thank you. You're both mates of mine, and we'll see you back here next week, mates.